Let me ask you, take me back to the inception of this idea. What inspired you right at the beginning? When did you think, I've got to do this as a movie?
Well, it never started as a movie because I never wanted to direct or write or make a film. I'd been traveling for so many years and I'd been frustrated with violence against women and frustrated with lack of intervention, and this question that just kept weighing on me when I'd see people who'd survived war, and you'd look at them and you'd think, these are just great people, and yet they were trapped inside a situation that just challenged their humanity and changed them and what they confronted, and how then you're supposed to learn to work with people to help them to recover. And the only way to help and to understand is to really understand what war does to people. And this particular war, I was 17 to 20, 22, and I wasn't paying enough attention, and the world wasn't paying any attention. And when I researched it, I was really upset. I was really upset by how much the world did know, how much was reported, and the world turned its back, and I was really quite, I was ashamed, and I was angry. So I wanted, so then I was compelled to get this story out because I felt we must revisit this time in history, we must learn from it, we must not pretend it didn't happen. And these extraordinary people and extraordinary artists from this part of the world.
What did you make of the reaction last night?
Oh, it was probably one of the most extraordinary nights I've ever had in my life to be a part of, because I have, you know, of course you work on this and you meet people from the region and you meet victims of the war, and you feel such a responsibility to try to do right by them, and at the same time you're not doing a documentary, you're doing a, you know, it's an artistic interpretation. It's a film, and so you've taken their lives and their history, and you've done it for the right reasons, and you've tried to also make a compelling film, but you know these people sitting here are going to be reminded of the most painful time in their lives, and you know, will they feel comfortable with this? Will they embrace it? Will they be upset? I don't know, and I was terrified. I was terrified, and then when they stood up, I just wanted to cry. So.
It was a very powerful moment, wasn't it?
It was, and for the cast, because the cast, you know, came together from all sides, and it's such a symbol of unity that isn't often seen here, isn't seen here enough. I believe it belongs in the hearts of the people, all the people that I've met, not the officials, not the government, the people. They still feel, and people who went through this war, they remember what it was. They were raised together. They feel this unity still, and there's so much love for each other, and I see it with the cast. And when I saw the cast on stage together, being received together, it means so much, and it says so much about how much this country, what they've survived and what they deserve and what's in their hearts, and it's very inspiring, and it makes me, and I hope the international community, stand up to say, this is a great country, and this country needs our continued support, because these people are wonderful, and their culture, their art, their everything. So we must get behind them. It's only 15 years ago, and we don't do enough. We don't do enough to support them.
Your film has been criticized for being one-sided. The Serbs have said you're not welcome in Republika Srpska because you demonize the Serb side. Do you accept that the film is one-sided?
No, it's not. It's not. It's not. I think people that are looking, as we've spoken about, people that are looking to say it should be 50-50, it should be equal. I don't understand that. The war wasn't that way. You know, they're looking for a balance that did not exist. They don't want to see these atrocities. They don't want to be reminded of these atrocities. Some people want to deny it even happened, and those people will be angry. But there are also a lot of wonderful people from Serbian Republika Srpska who are intelligent, open-minded individuals who do not just believe the headlines of somebody who's trying to, you know, incite aggression, but also can see through it and see that in this film is not full of hate. It's not pointing fingers. It's not trying to incite, you know, more violence and divisions. It shows humanity on all sides, and it is as balanced as I feel it should have been, and in the way it should have been. And in the end, what happened to the Bosnian people was horrific. And yes, there are victims on all sides, and yes, people suffer from all sides, but you can't deny Srebrenica. You can't deny what happened.
Do you plan to stay engaged with this question?
Absolutely. I hope you work with me on it. I know. I think it's one of these places, isn't it, in the world that anybody that's spent time here, anybody that's worked here, you know, we fall in love with this part of the world. We fall in love with these people. It's very special, and there are a lot of things that can be done because you can see the energy of the people here, and it doesn't take much for the international community to support the good programs and the good people and the good things happening, and give them the strength to be able to do that and to have a prosperous country.
What did you learn from the cast about the way they interacted with each other? Because the cast is drawn from really all the ethnic groups of Bosnia.
Yeah.
What did you learn from them?
Well, what was amazing is you know, when I sent the script out to people from all sides of the conflict, I thought, no way will they all agree. I kind of thought the movie was going to stop there. They would not agree, and then I would have to throw the script away, and we wouldn't make it. And they all stepped forward, and they didn't step forward blindly. They all had their opinions. They wanted to adjust some things. They wanted to, you know, they were very careful and very strong, but they wanted to come together, and they saw this was a piece of art, and they were going to make it together, and they liked the idea that they were going to work together. They miss being together. And even when I was interviewing the actors, what was interesting is because I wanted to have a balance of different backgrounds, but it was very difficult because what's beautiful is they didn't want to be identified by their backgrounds, of course. So when the casting agent would say, "What's your background?" Say, "Yugoslavian." And then we'd say, "But what is your," you know, and it's because it's the question you don't want to ask, because it's, and yet we were trying to ask so we could find the balance. But it was beautiful that they all in their private interviews, they would speak about just who they were, their balance. They spoke about this unity and then to bring them together and make them revisit this time in history and make them recreate such violence against each other. The most beautiful thing is the first thing we shot was the scene where the men pull the women off the bus, and it's a rape scene. It was the first thing we shot, and it was everybody coming together. It was the first time some of them had ever met. And either their parents had fought against each other, or they'd fought physically in the war, or they'd been abused. So they all had a very tense, and we shot this scene, and I didn't know how it was going to go, and it was really strong and really horrible. And the moment I called cut, the man who had to rape the woman, he picked her up and he hugged her and he brushed all the snow off of her, and all the men who'd ripped all the clothes off and yelled at the women picked their coats up and brought them their earrings and apologized. And that's how the film went. Through the entire film, the cast was always remembering the beauty of their time together when they were young, and they were listening to each other and talking about the future, and their kids were playing together, and they recognized that that was important. And it's hard for them. It's not been easy for all of them to step forward together.
Thank you very much.